Today on the Topping Show, Trump hospital arrival video goes viral after the assassination attempt. Secret Service has a comical excuse for not having a man on the roof. Gavin Newsom signs an anti-parental notification law, which inspires Elon to move SpaceX and X Twitter to Texas. Mayor of Pennsylvania said that the Trump shooter should have tried harder. Deere Backtracks from DEI as well as the Pride parades. The Trump shooter had explosives but apparently never researched them, begging the question how he got them. Chicago mayor removes the George Washington statue from City Hall. Costco goes viral for selling food buckets. Charles Schwab stock dips a little bit after their new brokerage goal is not met. Zinn is so popular it's opening up a new plant. And a windmill farm is being shut down after some of the windmills break into the ocean. All of that and much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see your founder at least twice a day. Guy says he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also giving away a free 50 caliber musket or flintlock pistol with every July purchase to celebrate the 4th of July. Go to toppingtechnologies.com to learn more. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Costco selling big old buckets of food. In fact, they have 150 servings in them and going viral. Now this is first reported thanks to ABC7 News. You can see they have that astronomical large food bucket. Not only does it have 150 servings, but it has a 25-year shelf life, which is quite a long time to say the least. Begs the question, what the heck is it made of? And how good does it realistically taste? Now, they say that this kit is called the Ready Wise Emergency Food Supply Bucket. It also offers a total of, well, it's quite a bit, 25,280 calories if you are a calorie counting person, with freeze-dried items such as teriyaki rice, pasta alfredo, potato pot pie, and apple cinnamon cereal. It's listed online at $79.99, though some Costco locations offer lower prices in person. Now, they say that the online shipping usually takes 10 to 15 business days, which, it's a little bit slow for e-commerce. That's quite a bit. Now, let's say while this product is particular, has received some viral attention recently, the retailer offers similar products that include Chef's baguette, 1 month supply with 380 servings for $189.99. That's actually an entire pallet of 36 ReadyWise buckets is $2,500, which is 5,400 servings, which is quite a bit. Granted, they're not sponsored, but I was going to say, given the unprecedented amount of political and economic uncertainty, and depending on where you live with natural disasters, doesn't seem like the craziest thing to buy these days. Can't believe Wonderfills sell out quicker than when they sell gold at Costco, which sells out darn near immediately. But let me know in the comments, do you think these things will fly off the shelves? Would you actually buy one yourself or you're interested? Let me know in the comments. As always, fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Charles Schwab stock crashing 9% after they missed a goal for new brokerage accounts and saying they're going to get smaller. Which, again, is usually not a good thing to tell investors or customers, which even, if it's honest, it's the right thing to do, of course. But that's not what folks like to hear in terms of, wait a minute, the company's getting smaller, you say. Well, that's not good news. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Investopedia. And the folks who may not aware, Charles Schwab is recently a Texas-based company, or some might call it a Texas-based company. And they're a bank, but they're best well known for being a brokerage account. So it's one of the many options you have if you want to actually buy and sell stocks. Very similar, some might call it more official or more traditional than something like a Robinhood. That's like the most viral app in the past couple of years when it comes to the brokerage and buying and trading of stocks, with their fancy feature being able to buy fractional shares, which not many other institutions do have that. But that's kind of what put Robinhood on the map. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Andel Kessel. They say that, quote, Charles Schwab stock sinks as CEO says the bank will get smaller. Now, that's not what you want to hear. That is, again, CEO Walt Bettender. And they reportedly opened, which, again, sounds like a lot, but is below expectations. So when it comes to new brokerage and missing expectations, they say that the Westlake, Texas-based company reported 985,000 new brokerage accounts in the quarter, an increase from 960,000 a year earlier during the same fiscal quarter. However, that was below the 1.04 million consensus from analysts per Bloomberg. Now, they also know that Schwab posted adjusted earnings per share of 79 cents per share and revenue of 4.69 billion, which was roughly in line with analyst consensus estimates compiled by Visible Alpha. They say that, the CEO Bettinger said, quote, Schwab's no trades off value proposition continues to resonate with investors. As new brokerage accounts opened this year grew to over 2 million, and the second quarter core asset gathered equal to, 61.2 billion, a year-over-year increase of 17%, which, again, I mean, that sounds great. I mean, most businesses would kill for that type of growth rate, but again, the actual number of investors and new people signing up for the services, that's been declining. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be a ripple effect with the financial community. I mean, one of the things that have been growing exponentially the past couple of years, thanks to the government ineptitude causing ridiculous inflation, a lot of Americans are starting to put their money in the stock market. That's one of the reasons it's been growing so much lately, in addition to the businesses also increasing their sales. So a lot of people are trying to hedge their bet, or not hedge their bet, trying to fight off the inflation by buying stocks, which again is a precarious thing because the stocks go up and down literally every second of the trading day. However, historically speaking, over the long term, most businesses do increase in value over time, though again, not giving any financial advice. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think if I know anyone who actually utilizes Charles Schwab, I think a lot of people see them as more legacy financial institution in that regard. And granted, they've been around for a while. Seems like all the kids these days, I tell you what, a lot of them are using the Robinhood and some of those more app friendly, which again, I'm sure Charles Schwab, of course, they all have their own apps. I think Robinhood is kind of known as the best app one, or app first kind of company. And also for, the whole GameStop business blunder of the year with that institution as well. But let me know, do you think now, I mean, in a question as old as the stock market itself, is now the time to buy into the stocks? Is it, buy low, sell high, as some might say? But always let me know in the comments. Fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, Zinn is growing so much, they're actually opening up a new plant, this time in Colorado. Now, for many people not familiar, if you've never watched a comedian podcast, they will never shut the heck up about Zinn, which is a tobacco product. It comes in a little fancy circular tin, and it comes in little packets. You eat it, and it's nicotine. And I'm pretty up with what they say they're not sponsored, but every stand-up comic in the past year, they worship that product as if it is made of gold or some other precious metal. Now, spoiler alert, they're actually owned by a bigger company, which is actually owned by, a company of a company. So they're owned by Philip Morris, which is one of the most successful tobacco companies since the dawn of time. Now, of course, they've also been rebranded to a bigger parent company called Altria. So if you want to try to learn more about the company in terms of the publicly available in terms of their stock history, you look for Altria Group. And they own even more tobacco companies as you have more consolidation of the brands throughout the years, in part just because this business consolidation, but also increased regulation and scrutiny. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Reuters, and they say, quote, Philip Morris to expand Zinn production in the U.S. with a new plant in Colorado. Which they could actually see one of their nice little plants right there. Well, maybe not too nice. I don't know who designed that building. Granted, it's a manufacturing site, but oddly they're reminiscent of just playing with Legos in terms of being a giant box. But nevertheless, I'm sure some architect cried on the inside when he was being paid to design that abomination. But nevertheless, they say that, quote, Philip Morris International said it would invest $600 million into a new manufacturing facility in Colorado to produce Zinn nicotine pouches to help meet demand for alternatives to traditional tobacco products in the U.S. They say that the plant is expected to begin preliminary operations by 2025 and create 500 jobs in the state. The world's biggest tobacco company, by market value, said, adding it would invest the amount over the next 2 years through one of its U.S. affiliates. Philip Morris entered the U.S. market after it bought Zinn parent Swedish Match in a $16 billion deal in 2022 as part of its efforts to provide alternatives to traditional cigarettes amid greater health awareness and stricter regulation, which, again, that's another unknown variable that people keep speculating. What is long-term health benefits, or more more accurately and more likely, health detriments of long-term uses of these alternative tobacco products. There are people saying, oh yes, vaping is so much healthier. Is it? Yeah, I don't know how much I buy that. Same thing for this type of little tobacco or this little nicotine packets. Again, these stand-up comments, which they have, I mean, there's a lot of speculation on Philip Morris paying a third party, them paying the comics, but they're the most, trying to think of how to keep this family friendly. Cover your ears if you have children listening, but they are basically whores for Zyn. They love it so much, and they always kept saying, "Oh God, that gopher of a comedian, Bert Chrysler, Bart Chrysler." Kidding, that's part of the joke of him, is no one knows his name. But nevertheless, he actually told someone, I don't know how he wasn't sued, or he told someone to try it out. It's not addictive, which is the dumbest thing Bert has ever said. Which is saying something because he's mostly mentally vacuous, though highly entertaining for 12 to 13 people. Kidding, I know he sells out stadiums, but still, he told someone, try this product, it's not addictive. Literally nicotine, it absolutely is. That's why there's a big label on it. But nevertheless, they also note that the company has benefited from strong demand for Zyn, which it says does not contain tobacco in the United States, with shipments rising nearly 80% in the first quarter over a year earlier. Begs the question, why is this stock not rising like Nvidia stock? One would think it would, but nevertheless, they say that. But in June, Philip Morris suspended the nationwide sales of Zyn following a subpoena from the District of Columbia, which requested information about the compliance about the state's 2022 ban on the sale of flavored tobacco. Womp womp. Maybe that's why the stock isn't going too well. Yet more government interference. The government also wants to ban menthol flavored cigarettes, which is ridiculous. Granted, I've never had one, but yeah. Why don't they just let people buy what they want? They already come with a warning label, but partially digress. They say that, but the plan faced pushback from anti-tobacco and health groups, which have written to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to oppose IQOS-related applications the company has submitted to the agency, according to Reuters. That is the big uncertainty when, well, every business is being bullied by the U.S. government these days. It's not unique just to tobacco. I mean, just try making a car in the U.S. You'll see there's more rules, regulations, and more nanny state than a freaking dictionary in terms of length of all the rules you have to comply with. But yeah, there's unprecedented demand for the product. Again, I don't know if there's any specific health studies on the specific usage of Zyn, because again, it has nicotine in it. But I know a lot of people love those things, and there's even more and more demand. Maybe it's just a temporary thing, because again, Juul, they were famously sued and they were blacklisted. They actually shelved. They couldn't sell for a certain period of time when the government was getting involved, and only later did they win that case. So you might have a very similar instance with this newish tobacco-related product, even though it doesn't have tobacco in it. I'm guessing it's a derivative of it, where you just extract the nicotine. And again, I've never tried the damn thing. I'm just kind of extrapolating or kind of trying to read between the lines for the situation. But they are growing exponentially in popularity. And again, not financial advice, not saying you should or should not invest based on this information we covered today. But it is fascinating to see one of those big business and culture things just exploding. It reminds me of one of my favorite books called Freakonomics, where all of a sudden just a product it'll be around for a while and then just bam, just explodes in popularity. So let me know, do you know anyone who actually has consumed Zyn in the past couple of years? Do they like it? And if they do, why? I know some people like the fact that it comes with a little packet. Like, I mean, you also have that with certain chewing tobacco, I believe, as well. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Culture Part podcast, you have John Deere backtracking on their DEI policies and pride parades. But will there not be a boycott by the far left? Now, this is brought to us thanks to End Wokeness. Now, a little background to the situation. John Deere, which, spoiler alert, they make tractors for conservatives who actually work in the fields and own farms. Well, for 100 years, they're making moderately reliable tractors, all these big agricultural machines the size of Panzer tanks, something to that effect. And they thought, it'd be a good idea. Let's get involved in DEI and pride parades. Pride parades where you actually have children participating and other things that many, many, many people would find morally and mentally vacuous. Not all. People in San Francisco love having naked adults in front of children, and which again is against the law, but they do what they want to over there. Now, they also had DEI trainings leaked, so someone actually took a picture of their training at John Deere, and that got online. It went viral, causing a big backlash from traditional conservatives and a lot of people in the middle. They're like, wait a minute, you make tractors for a living? Now, spoiler alert, the 10 largest shareholders of the company, they're all the big ones that are pushing those types of ideologies like ESG scores, DEI things. So it makes sense from the perspective of that again, biggest shareholders are Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, and I forget the one that Bill Gates owns, but another one. And they were pushing these types of ideologies, and then people said, wait, why are you doing this? Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll buy a Case New Holland. Maybe I'll buy a Kubota tractor, which again is a damn near bulletproof piece of Japanese engineering with the U.S. headquarters in the great state, or some might argue the great country of the Exodus. But nevertheless, there's a big backlash online. John Deere social media, people started to go back in time since, again, they froze any new posts. Went back in time, just roasted them viscerally. And now we have an official statement, thanks to End Wokeness. End Wokeness says, quote, breaking, John Deere is backtracking on multiple woke corporate policies to halt a brewing boycott. The pressure is working. And again, this is a little bit long, but I'll go ahead and read it in its full. This is a letter from John Deere. It says, quote, John Deere was founded in America's heartland nearly 200 years ago by an entrepreneur deeply committed to delivering innovative products to his customers. We're proud of this legacy, and it continues to drive us today. We deeply value our more than 80,000 global employees who work every day to deliver superior products to our customers. It takes the best people and the best teams to solve our customers' biggest challenges, unquote. Which, kind of an interesting time with that, because they just outsourced a bunch of jobs from Iowa and Illinois, or so-called Illinois, to Mexico, in part because of decrease in demand, but also cost of labor, as well as U.S. being way too overregulated. But again, they did say, it is in the text, they did say they're global. Okay. They say, quote, to serve our customers and employees, Deere is always listening to feedback and looking for opportunities to improve. That's why we continue consistently prioritize internal policies that more closely align with our business strategy to meet the needs of our customers. For example, last year, we revised our corporate guidelines to solely focus on sponsorship supporting the business and brand. Our nonprofit sponsors center on priority areas such as hunger, economic development, poverty alleviation, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, agricultural education initiatives, and support for our nation's service members and veterans. Which, excellent bullet points. Those all make sense, especially when it comes to these types of machineries becoming more and more computerized. You're definitely going to need a lot more STEM field folks coming in that area. Now, they also say, quote, based on ongoing conversations, we have committed to the following. We will no longer participate in or sponsor external social or cultural awareness parades, festivals, or events. Business resource groups will exclusively be focused on professional development, networking, mentoring, and supporting talent recruiting efforts. Auditing all company-wide mandated training materials and policies to ensure the absence of socially motivated messages while being in compliance with federal, state, and local laws. Perfect, because again, on a federal level, it's still illegal to discriminate based on someone's things that they cannot change, such as their gender and race. Now, they continue saying, quote, reaffirming within the business that the existence of diversity quotas and pronoun identification have never been and are never company policy, unquote. I don't really believe that, but again, they're saying it was never, and perhaps, more, again, going forth, it won't be, so they say. They continue to say, quote, we fundamentally believe that a diverse workforce enables us to be the best to meet our customers' needs, and because of that, we will continue to track and advance the diversity of our organization. We remain committed to listening to our customers, employees, and other key stakeholders. Your trust and confidence in us are of the utmost importance to everyone at John Deere, and we fully intend to earn it every day in every way we can. So, pretty good politicking over there, because again, we'll see. Again, saying is one thing, in practice is another. But yeah, they do seem to be dramatically backtracking on that previous statement, the previous company policies. And again, I wonder, will the big shareholders, will they drop the company now? Will they sell the stock? Because again, some of these largest financial institutions are specifically picking businesses to invest in because of their policies and procedures around such things as ESG scores and DEI. Now, it didn't quite go as viral as I thought it would. Got 191,000 views and 4.6 thousand likes. Now, one of the first responses we have from End Wokeness saying, great work, Robbie Starbuck. First he got Tractor Supply, now he got John Deere, unquote. Getting 1.5 thousand likes, which is very true. Robbie Starbuck did some really good undercover reporting, and he was able to learn a lot of the instances with the same parallel. You saw this happen at Tractor Supply a couple weeks ago. And that company, again, they listened to the customers. They said, all right, we will no longer have these policies. We will no longer be divisive. We're going to focus on, our customer base and, core values. Now, scrolling down, some other top comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, the people are speaking with their wallets. Smart companies listen. John Deere is doing the right thing. Hopefully more companies will do this on their own before the boycotts start brewing. We'll have to wait and see. And 58 likes, but yeah, there's 0% of that. No, let's be fair. It's not 0%. It's 0.0000278% approximately that the companies will do this without a boycott. Because again, on average, one of the reasons the United States culturally, I believe, has become so divided, because on average, conservatives, we don't speak up. Again, one of my best examples is my parents. They hardly ever talk about, their ideology when it comes to policies, constructions, even when I was of an age where you think would be appropriate. In many cases, some they did, but on average, they never told anyone else outside the family. And yet, and again, you need to have those conversations so we have the best ideas brewed to the surface. Now, when it comes to boycotting, conservatives, on average, terrible at boycotting and never happened. For decades, the only successful one was the Bud Light, which was a huge success. Then Tractor Supply, and now John Deere. That's about 3. I'm trying to think of any other business examples where they actually voice their concerns. A little bit with Target, their sales didn't go down too much, and I think a lot of people just acquiesced back. Again, Target, they had the satanic materials in the stores, and I don't mean just pride materials. I mean actual satanic materials. We had the Satan pin of Satan. It was an enamel pin, don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's high Chinesium metal, and it said Satan respects pronouns, and they had the trans swimsuits and all that kind of stuff. Now, conservatives pushed back a little bit. The Target did move that stuff to the back of the store and stop carrying certain products. But, okay, so that's 4. There's really not that many. Which, again, so the only time these companies will actually acquiesce and, retreat, so to say, I think is with a boycott. Again, a peaceful boycott is how really, when it comes to pretty much any cultural topic, is, I think, where you have the best success. Now, scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Let's see. Now, I don't know. I do not. So we'll have to do a further investigation. Florida One says, I think these companies are caught and it's lawsuit city. How does Microsoft go from DEI is business critical to DEI is not business critical? This is an article from Business Insider saying they shut that part of the company down. I got 26 likes. I'm going to have to research that. Because, yeah, tech companies especially, they have been pushing that for quite some time. Like Scott says, the lifeblood American companies need to quit hiring their executives from these woke universities. Yep, getting 20 likes, which, again, it's not necessarily that they went to a bad university. Well, some of them are. But, I mean, the most important thing that anyone with a modicum of business intelligence would tell you is know your customer. And that's rule 1 of business. Know your customer base. And ideally provide an exceptional product or service to them. And a lot of these, Harvard CEOs, they come in, they just basically spit in the eye of the customer. And give it. So, I mean, it's just not understanding them. Then a lot of times doing the opposite, which again causes many of them to boycott. The fed up majority saying no, it's not. The end of the statement says that they're focused on DEI, getting 33 likes. Which, again, there is a difference between valuing diversity and pushing quotas. Because again, it's all about, in my opinion, you want to accept every single possible resume, and then you choose the best man for the job. It's not an instance of you only, the legal and I believe the moral issue is when you start saying you will only accept certain resumes based on someone's gender or their race, which is, again, is also illegal. So I think that's the bigger issue here. At the end of the day, if you take the best resumes and best qualifications, and the team happens to be physically or generally diverse, it's not a bad thing. Now, scrolling down more and more, see if there's any contrarian comments here. You got Red Wave Press saying conservatives win again, getting 29 likes. Here. What is this? That's a random post about Elizabeth Warren. Again, that's what John Deere is saying. Now, I'm not sure if they will stick to their guns, so to say, or stick to their tractors. I mean, a couple of these comments are just pictures of Case New Holland, which is a major competitor in the agricultural industry. I also have a couple of John Deere tractors with Trump flags on it, so a couple customers forgiving the company. So things, I mean, in terms of the public feedback, and granted, this is only on X Twitter, I'm not sure what the direct correlation is between how many people are actually on X Twitter and actually going out and buying these types of agricultural machineries. But I mean, based on the feedback online we saw today, it seems like overwhelming positive reception of the news from John Deere. Now, that being said, well, you have a boycott from folks on the far left. Because again, this has also become a very big political thing and cultural thing. And because they're not pushing this, there'll be certain investors who very well may just sell their stock of the company. And then there might be one or maybe two short-haired blue gals or blue-haired gals who don't want to buy a John Deere tractor anymore. I'm kidding. There's only one, probably, allegedly. I've never actually seen any photographic evidence of that. If you have, I'd be especially fascinated. Yeah, put that in the comments if you actually have ever seen that. But all seriousness, let me know what your thoughts are. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have the Chicago mayor removing the George Washington statue from City Hall. But another dollar in the jar of Trump was right. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on X Twitter, saying, quote, breaking, Mayor Johnson is removing George Washington statue from the hallway of Chicago City Hall. Which, yeah, when it comes to the culture of Chicago, very, very similar to the politicians as well as the football team over there. They'll be good next year. And that's a joke because, yeah, this has been run by, politically, it's been run by Democrats for 93 years by now. And culturally, yeah, no, it continues to be worse and worse and worse, causing most people and businesses to leave because it's Chicago. It will not be good next year. Now, again, in terms of the city and the people there should be cultural pushback from this. And one of the best men in history is George Washington. Especially during July, they're doing this, really, what some are calling MAGA month. Disgusting. And yeah, Trump was right. As soon as they started to tear down the Civil War statues, Trump said, there's no limiting factor. They're just going to keep doing this and doing this and doing this. They won't stop. And this has been proven time and time again, and is a big cultural issue in the United States because, again, I mean, you should not play that drinking game if every time I mention 1984, you take a shot because you'd surely end up in the hospital. I do not recommend that. However, I do have to mention that book. Just like in 1984, they erase history, they manipulate history, and they tore down all the statues. There are so many parallels to that book, culturally and politically speaking. It is horrifying. And yeah, everyone should read it. I don't think most public schools do actually have that these days. They have perverse books to push. But yeah, if we had a sane society, everyone, left, right, center, everyone would be saying, no, this is part of our history, part of our culture. I mean, George Washington, quite literally, one of the founding fathers, setting up the most successful country in history, with the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, second to none. And yet, you have more and more people cheering statues being torn down. Just illegally going up in the middle of the night, tearing down a statue. Now, in this case, you actually have the government tearing it down, which is even more evil, which, given Chicago, we should not be surprised. Now, this also shows the resource allocation and the attention of what Chicago mayor is doing. He also spent, $500,000 to study reparations, which is a big, hot cultural topic. Also immoral for people who had never owned slaves to pay for that, but nevertheless, yeah, George Washington. And it's a nice statue. I believe it's probably bronze or brass or some type of metallic material. A little roped off there. Now, I'm actually surprised, given the politics these days, they're not melting the statue down or destroying it with a sledgehammer. So it is early in the day. Perhaps the Chicago mayor will do that. Now, Web Viral got 1.5 million views, as well as 17,000 likes. Well, the first comments comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, Chicago Mayor Johnson isn't removing the crime, but is removing the statues. Got it. Getting 1.5 thousand likes. But yeah, spoiler alert, in terms of Chicago and the ineptitudes of the culture, as well as the police and the whole government over there. Over the 4th of July weekend, earlier this month, there was 100 shootings in downtown Chicago. And spoiler alert, they have the strictest gun laws on the books. So no, gun laws have nothing to do with actually gun-related incidents. It's all about culture. I remember I grew up in a suburb, so thankfully, I was relatively safe, of course. But everyone kept saying, "Oh yeah, the guns are coming in from Indiana, so that's why we need to have even tougher gun laws." Which I would simply say, "Well, wait a minute. If it's only laws, it's easier to get guns in Indiana. Why don't they have worse crime over there? They have a couple areas that are not great. Obviously, there's crime in the major cities, but it's not to the extent of Chicago. It's a specific cultural decay that is Chicago that leads to having one of the highest crime rates ever. And fun fact, if you remove the top 6 cities in terms of crime in the United States, globally, the U.S. drops dramatically in terms of global crime-related, not just petty crime, but also murders and deaths. Now, other top comments come from the Texas one, saying this will definitely stop the killing of the black community, getting 737 likes. Planet of Memes says this guy is absolute abysmal male, getting 944 likes. Now, that might be a fun question from the comments. Who is more of an inept or immoral or evil mayor? You have Lori Lightfoot, which, I mean, she was at least funny because she looked like one of the Beetlejuice characters. But then you have Mayor Johnson. Both very divisive, not building the community up. Yeah, which one's worse? Let me know in the comments there. Planet of Meme says this guy's an absolute abysmal mayor, getting 944 likes again. Elon Musk had exclamation point, getting 6.4. Oh, I thought my like might push it up to 6.5 thousand. Unfortunately not. X Van Fleet, which I believe is a very... Oh yeah, I need to follow this person. This person is Chinese by birth, American by choice, survivor of the Mao Cultural Revolution, defender of liberty. This person does exceptional interviews. I've seen him a couple times. And this individual says, quote, they hate America, they are Marxist and communist, unquote, getting 7.7. Wait, can we make it? Oh, okay. We weren't the lucky one to push it over the top. I did like it, but it did not get to 2.8 yet. It is currently at 2.7 thousand likes. Liberty Mary TM says, I truly mean this. It's a sign that says no one, and I mean no one, has done more to harm America than Democrats, unquote. Getting 1.5 thousand likes. But keep voting the same, Chicago, and see what happens. I guess things will not get better. Scrolling down more and more. They never do this, but El Chapo X says they should replace it with this, and it's a bronze image of Donald Trump holding his fist bump in the air after the attempted assassination. Which, yeah, Chicago of all places wouldn't. I mean, that's the bluest state, and yeah, especially the district, of course. But yeah, they would never do that. I mean, they hate Trump. And that's 999 likes. Let's put it over. There we go. We got to 1,000. We made the difference in that regard. Scrolling down more and more, you have Western Invasion saying "Wake Up America" is a U.S. Not sure. Oh yeah. Oh, it says there. So statue of George Washington at a different location. However, it is covered with a Palestinian flag as well as the kitchen towel, and it says "Joe Biden's America," courtesy of Democrats, and it says "Are you awake yet?" They got 319 likes. See, Nancy says, if we still can't identify evil, we deserve what we get. Richard Karl Marx says, keep people from their history and they are easily controlled. Gained 314 likes. See, there's any contrarian statements here. Because again, there are some major radical leftists who love this type of stuff. This is a new word. I never heard this. I've never heard this phrase before. Robert Sepper says, Afrocentric communism, the worst kind, getting 967 likes. Let's see. Junita Broderick says, what an ass jerk, getting 503 likes. That's a new word too. Although to be fair, I'm not sure if these are like Scrabble official types of words. Oh, here's a good infographic. Unfortunately, I do not see a URL to an actual source. However, the Florida one says the Chicago mayor always focuses on the big stuff that clearly will decrease illegal crime and gang violence. And it's a little infographic saying violent crime in Chicago rose by 11.5% in 2023, highlighting safety concerns and their need for better crime prevention strategies. Got 54 likes. And yet, they do the same thing again and again and again in Chicago. Which, that's the definition of insanity. I'm not sure that people will, again, you're going to need in order to fix Chicago, you need a huge, momentous cultural shift. There's many variables that they need to fix that. But until they actually turn their culture around and start valuing building communities and nuclear families, which statistically speaking is one of the best ways to escape poverty and build our country. Unfortunately, I just don't see things getting any better anytime soon in Chicago. And again, I never want people to be hurt. I mean, they just keep pushing the same thing again and again, and the policies are clearly not working. The culture is not building the area up. It's continuing to break it down. So I really do hope it gets better, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon. So let me know if you think differently, especially if you're a resident of Chicago, or more accurately, statistically speaking, one of the suburbs of Chicago. I'd be especially fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the political part of the podcast, you have Trump hospital arrival after the assassination attempt. That video is going viral, as the youth might say. Now, scrolling down here, this is brought to us thanks to Laura Loomer, which a weird name. Loom? That sounds kind of creepy. Looms over you. It's almost as weird as a name like Topping. Oh, wait. I partially digress, but nevertheless, this comes to us thanks to Laura Loomer, in which she said, quote, must watch new footage. An ER patient in the hospital in Butler, Pennsylvania, captured the moment President Trump arrived at the hospital. You can hear how shook up the people in the ER waiting room were heading over to Donald Trump. Trump had been shot, and now happy they are able to see he is walking. Well, it's only about 46 seconds. A spoiler alert, you see one of the Secret Service gals attempt to do a job. Which, actually, another big red flag of the ineptitudes of the Secret Service. Don't get me wrong, there are many. Actually, again, they should have had basically a private army go in the hospital and secure that. In terms of, again, we don't know what's in this room. This person's pointing a camera at the presidential vehicle. Could have been something else. I mean, you really don't know. There's maybe they'll turn around, they'll show a big jacked, bodybuilding type of Secret Service agent. I mean, probably not, but we'll continue the video.
Who is that? Oh, sorry.
I'm just trying to. No, they're bringing but I see all of the Secret Service.
That concrete is especially high-grade reinforced. I say that because the big Secret Service gal is now standing in front of the SUV. And this is the same gal who, again, cowered behind former President Donald Trump when he's being shot at on stage. And then she further highlighted her ineptitudes by not being able to reholster a pistol and looking as if she never even held one in her life. Now, some might argue I'm being too harsh. It was a very tense situation. No, very few people can do that. I agree that very few people can do that job. It's the most stressful job you could probably conceivably have, especially when it comes to a government job. However, that's why you need the best of the best, not artificially putting people there by lowering the bar. And DEI nearly got Trump killed. Again, the Secret Service should be the former Secret Service head. She's a global security gal from PepsiCo, which normally I would applaud the private sector because they're infinitely more efficient than the public sector. However, she was guarding high fructose corn syrup in a can. They should have gotten someone like Eric Prince or someone from a private military contracting community where they have vast better experience, which people do critique Eric Prince, of course. He was the leader of Blackwater, founder of Blackwater. They did have some bad incidents. Unfortunately, some civilians were hurt. The upside of their particular business, none of the people they protected ever lost their life or were ever traumatically harmed. That's pretty damn impressive given the type of situation they had in Afghanistan at the time. Now, nevertheless, I'll get back to the video of the large gal standing in front of the SUV. It's almost like she's playing pretend. It's like a Wish.com Secret Security Service agent. Or a Temu. Well, Temu. Sorry, I had to go there.
Oh yeah, we're front row, and my friend saw blood coming out of his head.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus.
There he is.
Oh,
There he is. There he is. There he is.
There he is. Oh, thank God. He's walking.
He's walking. He's walking.
Everyone here is exuberantly happy because, again, he's able to walk, and a lot of people thought he had passed. This went pretty viral. In a couple hours, got 4.9 million views as well as 72,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from the Hodge twins saying, quote, hold up, is that the same Secret Service agent that couldn't figure out how to put her pistol back in the holster? She's still trying to figure that out. Getting 24,000 likes for that comment. Paul Zupa said, quote, amazing reactions from people. They went from being so worried to so relieved. Beautiful moment. Getting 426 likes. True. This is a very specific Twitter X profile name. Good advertising. You know exactly what they believe in. This profile is named Believe in Jesus Christ, or sorry, Believe on Jesus Christ. They quote, also notice the troubled Secret Service agent is bumbling around in the front, still flustered. Yep, getting 1.8 thousand likes. Versa says divine intervention saved our president and country, getting 2.1 thousand likes. J. Dill had a screenshot of that gal says, not her again, LMFAO, getting 7.2 thousand likes. Here. Bruce Balio says he's walking, sounds like joy. In the hospital, love it, getting 2.4 thousand likes. Rita says, and holster girl still hasn't worked it out, getting 1.1 thousand likes. Picture of Rad Sploths and barely avoided a civil war. We have divine hand of God pushing Trump's head. It looks like it's blocking the bullet, but should be guiding Trump's head to turn because that's what saved him, was his head was turned. But nevertheless, that picture got 439 likes. Let's see. A lot of people pointing out that gal. Time and time again. Oh, here's you go. Spirit, the good old Halloween store. Doreen Linzer says, mall cop trying. This picture of that big gal, it says FBI DEI hire, includes weapon, badge, sunglasses, holster puzzle, rubber stamp to bypass pesky merit based on advancement. Now, the only downside is they say adult size costume. They could have said extra size, but nevertheless, that did get 63 likes. Going down more and more. I didn't want to say it in the video, but yeah, this person does make a good point. Holden Johnson says the sight of Trump is so powerful, even people in wheelchairs can walk. Suck it, libs. He got 1.8 thousand likes. Let's see, any contrarian statements? Again, feminists love this. I mean, they love the, having gals on the force like this. Scrolling down more and more. No, let's see. Mike G says, good lord, the first thing you see is DEI super hire out in front of the vehicle, still looking like she doesn't know what she's doing, unquote. In 980 likes. Let's see. Any contrarian statements? Let's see here. I don't think so. A lot of people, and I don't know who's doing the Photoshop, but there's a lot of people posting the image of Trump triumphantly, fist pumping into a bronze statue of that. I was to say that probably one of the most powerful moments in our history, in our life. Well, I guess I'm relative to the United States history, I'm relatively young, but nevertheless, that moment will not be forgotten. Oh, geez, someone did the James Bond. Oh, that's kind of funny. It's a good word pun. I'll allow it. The capitalist Mike says, well, it's a picture of GoldenEye, the best video game of all time on the Nintendo 64, and it says DEI another day, and it has that big gal getting 100 likes, which again is a pun because one of the movies in the James Bond world is Die Another Day, so DEI another day. So that's pretty clever. Got 100 likes. Yeah, overwhelming positive responses. Again, it's one of the most viral moments all week. Now, most of us are, I would say every American should be in cheer of this. It's actually quite horrifying. Some are against, they're actually saddened that Trump is still alive. Those people, spoiler alert for later in the show, I don't think they're going to have jobs if they keep promulgating that on social media. But let me know in the comments, do you think you'll see some extra behind the scenes footage like this throughout the next couple of weeks? This is, again, this happened, happened earlier this week, last Saturday, and yet we're only seeing this video now, which is interesting. It took so long, but well, maybe it took longer to trend than I thought. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news: the Secret Service now claim they didn't have someone on the roof because it was slightly sloped, but now there's a cow on it. And I don't mean the fat Secret Service agent who cowered behind President Donald Trump in fear when he was being shot at, and then proceeded to not know how to holster a weapon and just be a failure in pretty much every conceivable metric. Now, this was first brought to us thanks to Kyle Becker on X Twitter, in which he says, quote, new Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle, good friend of Jill Biden and the new face of America's competency crisis, didn't post snipers on the roof where Trump was shot at because it was a sloped roof and she was afraid someone might slip and fall. You can't make this up, unquote. Yes. This is not a TV sitcom. This gal is a real person who was hired for a job. It is also hilarious. Her name is Cheadle. She should be guarding Cheetos, still at PepsiCo, which also owns Frito-Lay from Business Fact of the Day. And I'm not original with that assessment or that pun. It's been said many times in the YouTube and the X Twitter comments. But yeah, that's the excuse they've given. Does anyone believe that? I mean, we'll see this roof in a second. The slope is so small or so gradual. A cow is on the roof. You can't make this up. It's almost worse than an excuse you hear from a kid for not doing their homework. It's almost inconceivably mentally vacuous, and yet she said it. And let me see here. Yeah, we'll actually read the actual quote from her. She says, quote, "That building in particular had a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered that we don't want to put someone on a sloped roof," unquote. Safety. Who gives a rat's rear about a slope and safety? The most elite U.S. Special Forces, or what used to be the best in Secret Service, you know what their training is like? You know what they could take on? You know how many countries they've gone to? How many war zones they've been to? A sloped roof? That is the most... It's almost like a kindergarten environment for a sniper. Watch any documentary on the YouTube about how snipers are trained and how their practice and the executions go in the field. They literally crawl through the roughest, worst terrain and weather scenarios on the planet. And she's saying, oh yeah, having someone on a nice smooth roof, it's a little slope. We're worried that might be a safety factor. That's, again, the dumbest thing. Oh my gosh. Is that dumber than something Biden has said in the past couple of years with his mental slip-ups? But granted, I know I don't have much ground to stand on because I have my speaking ineptitudes. I know. But that's going to be the dumbest thing a government employee has said in the past couple of years, which is saying a lot. Now, they continue to say, and so, just with her vernacular, in my head, I just keep having that cliche, like, young bimbo, where like, oh, which, again, guys are dumb too throughout, it's not just girls, but like, yeah, that's just, when someone uses that particular vernacular, that's the first thing I think of. I'll attempt to keep a straight face. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from the inside. They continue to say, what transpired instead was a security nightmare. Thomas Matthew Crooks, which again, that, of all the names of someone to commit a heinous crime, his name is Crook. Kind of saw that coming, which is a ridiculous name. Almost as ridiculous as something like Topping. Oh wait, I partially digress. But nevertheless, Thomas Matthew Crooks was able to scale that building and secure his own position, while law enforcement struggled to locate him because they were blind. Well, they didn't say that, I'm saying that. The people in the crowd turned around and pointed out to the police and Secret Service, yet they did nothing for minutes. Which, yeah, that's what the head of the Secret Service is saying. I'm actually fascinated she has an American flag, a lapel pin on her suit, which is a rare thing in politics these days, since they usually represent so many other countries. People on the left and the right. It went pretty viral. This got 5 million views and 38,000 likes. With some of the first responses being, here, Constance Underfoot saying, and here's why it's nuts. The sniper team was on a steeper incline than the shooter, and neither had an incline that was a safety risk. Yep. And I guess it's not too visually disturbing if you have youth listening or tuning in, because the shooter was on you can see the body, but there's no blood or anything. So you can't really tell from this picture person's unalive. So I still think it's moderately family friendly. But nevertheless, yeah, the slope that the Secret Service and the agents were on was significantly greater than the slope that they should have been on from that vantage point that anyone playing Call of Duty would have said, oh yeah, why don't we put a sniper there? Or there's probably going to be a bad guy there. Like, anyone, like, the most rudimentary video game, or just even playing Cowboys and Indians as a kid, you would know that. Granted, back then, maybe it would be a long-distance arrow or a Winchester repeater in terms of, long-distance shooting technology, but I partially digress. Now, that did get 4,000 likes. And then Kyle Becker responded saying, quote, "You're right, it smacks of a lie," getting 2.1 thousand likes, which is what I speculate. You have Chuck Callisto saying, "Yet the Secret Service agent who neutralized the suspect was posted on a sloped roof. He must resign," getting 1.2 thousand likes. In the private sector, especially, that person will be fired immediately for those ineptitudes. That nearly got former President Donald Trump killed. Ridiculous. And also a great example of government ineptitudes and having, unions and people having cushy jobs that don't get fired for, failing time and time again. The day is young. I mean, by the time this video is rendered and uploaded, maybe she'll already be resigned in disgrace. She should, or maybe she's been fired. Could happen. Again, because this is one of the biggest security failures of our lifetime. Unacceptable. I don't give a... Get the best qualified person for the job. It's flabbergasting that is a controversial thing to say these days. Again, who gives a damn what someone looks like? Take every resume, take the one that is at the top. Take the one with the most qualifications, has the most experience. I partially digress. We'll get back to the comments. Going down more and more. Oh, yeah. Jess says like this one. There's again that picture with the greater slope that the good guys around gave 1,000 likes. Oh jeez. Yeah, there's two sloped, and it says perfect. And then even more ridiculous, the slope is so gradual. There's a cow on the roof earlier this week. So this is brought to us thanks to DC Drano, and he says, quote, Secret Service Director, quote, the roof slope was unsafe, unquote. And now, if you're only listening on Spotify or one of the major podcast platforms, again, take the time to like, subscribe, and comment. Greatly appreciate it. You're missing this hilarious picture where there's literally a cow, not the big Secret Service gal, an actual literal cow on the top of that building, which the slope was so gradual. It's only about 13 seconds. We'll play that real quick. Yeah, right. A literal cow. A literal cow is more intelligent than the head of the Secret Service if you think she's telling the truth. Personally, I'm kind of skeptical. Yep. A cow's up there. I mean, it would be more hilarious if it wasn't so horrifying. Again, the only reason Trump survived is because he turned his head and the bullet clipped his ear. That's the only reason. Now, the Secret Service, the competent agents, which, again, there were. I want to get this straight. There are good agents out there. Fortunately, the bad agents are so bad, they're messing the whole thing up. And leadership. So the good agents got in front of him, protected him, and then they subsequently took out the bad guy. Now, some of the top comments here, again, we got 1.3 million views and 44,000 likes. One of the top comments comes from Planet of Memes saying, explain this. And it's an FBI employee. What are they doing? They're soaking the roof with some type of substance. I'm guessing water or something, or cleaning up. Who knows? Which, it's kind of hilarious that the person has a shirt that says FBI. I thought they were more discreet, or maybe I'm thinking of the other three-letter acronym agencies. There are many agencies and many tax dollars. They got 158 likes. Governor Eagleman says, quote, she needs to be removed right now. Her statement is ludicrous, getting 456 likes. Let's see here. D. Trost, the general, says the Secret Service director can't be trusted. And it's a picture that says, is it me, or does it seem that the main purpose of the FBI is to hide evidence for Democrats? Getting 110 likes. That's kind of funny. It's a Batman Bane meme, or meme, as some might say. This calls from Recall Katie Hobbs. It's a picture of Bane. It says, biggest, baddest, highest budget security agency on the planet. And then it's a little, what do we call it, kid in a pink suit, or a guy in a pink suit, or pink unitard, saying slightly sloped roof. That got, how many did they get? 83 likes, which, yeah. I mean, the U.S. budget allocation in terms of how much money these agencies has is damn near seemingly unlimited. Also, it's quite concerning that even though they have basically unlimited budget, they wanted to cut security detail for Trump and decrease it. Interesting. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Oh, she's. Oh, wow. Let's hear. This is from Mr. Mithril Moments. And this is actually her talking. Let's see.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
I mean, can someone really be that dumb? I mean, is it possible for someone to be so mentally vacuous that she believes that statement and that she's telling the truth? And let me know if you think it's possible. These any contrarian statements here. A lot of people having the juxtaposition of the two different slopes. Yeah, we'll see if she actually holds on to her job or if there's any accountability in that regard. But yeah, a sloped roof. Right. I don't know about that. But as always, let me know in the comments. It'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Gavin Newsom signing the anti-parental notification law. The schools can now hide the kids being indoctrinated and groomed and transitioned. They can hide that from the parents. And there are people cheering this. Mostly mentally vacuous, evil people, but San Franciscans nevertheless. Kidding, there's other cities like that, fortunately. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Lives at TikTok, and it's her most viral moment of the year. Again, she says, Gavin Newsom signed AB 1955 today, which bans schools from making rules requiring parental notification. If a child identifies as transgender, get your kids out of public schools. They got 46.6 million views. And only, oh, that's disappointing, only 48,000 likes. And there's a picture of Gavin Newsom. One of the top comments comes from Elon Musk with the exclamation point getting 17,000 likes. Now, Liv's TikTok said, it's very scary having a kid in school in California now. These commies are going to die on this hill. Getting 12,000 likes, which, yep, as a man once said, they recruit, grow their numbers. Paul Zupa says Gavin Newsom is a predator who wants to force gender ideology into children. He should be prosecuted, getting 3.9 thousand likes. Planet of Memes finally did respond in meme form, so A+ marketing. Said, get out of California. It's a picture of the flag with the bear leaving. It says, I'm done with this liberal dump, but going to Texas. Which, we welcome you as long as you remember why you're leaving your failed state. They got 2.6 thousand likes. Texas 1 says they can't keep their hands on children, getting 344 likes. Which again, name one time ever when an adult telling a child, keep this information from your parents. Name one time that's been not creepy and normal and good. I'll wait. Again, I'm not seeing a statistic URL, but again, this is an infographic with Newsom on it. This comes from Tina Marie saying, add it to Gavin Newsom's already abhorrent legacy, which A+ for good vernacular. She used a word that very few people use. I like that. Good Scrabble word. And Gavin Newsom says, highest poverty rate in the nation, highest gas taxes in the nation, highest state income tax in the nation, record homelessness in California. The 2.6 thousand likes, which highlights many of the ineptitudes of California and their government. Yeah, when it comes to the homeless issue, which they're kind of incentivized never to fix because they spend billions on it, they have billions just vanish, unaccounted for. So they spent billions trying to fix a problem, and then they went, well, we don't know where this money went. And no, we're not talking about Ukraine. So that also happened there as well. Scrolling down more and more. That's was it? Frank Nicone says new scum and says you can't unsee this now. It's Beavis and Butthead, and it's Gavin and Biden. Gave him 3.3 thousand likes. Let's see. The Rabbit Hole says woke logic, and it's a cartoon that says leave the kids alone. It's a picture of a parent holding a poster at school. And inside the classroom, you have the teacher who's trans with all the trans flags inside the classroom. And then the parents changed it to the sign saying, okay, then ban child transitioning. And the children, or the teachers, putting the arms in front of the children and saying, leave the kids alone. They got 5.4 thousand likes, which, yeah, it is creepy that all these teachers spend a disproportionate, or they spend any time at all actually talking to kids about sex, as well as talking to kids about their sexual preferences. Remember back in the day, and I say back in the day, like it was a long time ago, like the 90s or 2000, when your teacher just taught basic zeros and ones, math, science, and history? Again, a friendly reminder, the ACT scores in the United States are at a 32-year low. Yet I'm told we need to pay teachers more and more and more and more and more. Yeah, maybe they should probably focus on the things that matter and actually, help form society. Give them a modicum of intellect. I know they won't, but they probably should. No, they probably should. It's not they probably should. They should, 110%. Yeah, now you have teachers who are coming out to the kids. How creepy is that? In what circumstances is that normal? I guess it's California normal, which is horrifying. Let's scrolling down more and more. Let's see here. Yeah, Julia says, what is it with leftists and their insistence on grooming kids, getting 1.3 thousand likes? Good question. I'd love to know. Someone by the name of Tickle says, more Californians head to Texas, take your political baggage or leave your political baggage at the border, we'll be checking. Which, yeah, 110%. Getting 626 likes. Let's see, is any contrarian statements here? Because again, there's Libercat Media TM says this, and it's leave the kids alone as a kid throwing up the pride colors, getting 636 likes. Which again, it's even more horrifying that there are some schools where the teachers or the nurses actually give the kids drugs to transition without telling the parents. That is horrifying. Again, there's no long-term study on some we know for sure these drugs are actually neuter the kids, and there's also very little there's no evidence that it actually does in terms of doing good, quote unquote. It's one of those instances where the suicide rate is identical. So a lot of people are trying to say, oh, you have to do this, otherwise the kids will commit, they'll end their own lives prematurely. Still 40%. The rate does not decrease. Nope. And again, this is a very recent cultural phenomenon. I'm ashamed that I have not read it yet, but I just recently bought Abigail Shriver's book called Irreversible Damage, which I've heard is kind of goes into the culture and the social phenomenon that is having this trend explode in terms of children transitioning, showing that there's very much a cultural thing to it. It's not science-based. It's all like a pop trend. I'm scrolling down more and more. See if there's any contrarian statements here. What is this? Cache my memes? No, they didn't respond in meme form. It's just text, though it's on a colorful background. Nevertheless, we'll say this alleged meme says, Democrats are the official party of crime, violence, and now assassinations. Getting 196 likes, which I'm surprised there isn't more of the compilation. There's like one comic book compilation talking about all the different presidents and that were attempted and assassinated. And it's fascinating to see who's behind many of those. So not a lot of contrarian statements here. Now again, in terms of Gavin Newsom and getting reelected, I mean, I don't personally agree with this, obviously, but the people in California love this type of stuff. There's a reason they keep reelecting Gavin Newsom time and time and time again. I mean, even with all the bad things we mentioned. And in terms of public speaking, he's very articulate. He gets his point across. A lot of people are saying he might replace Biden as the Democrat forerunner. Remember, they have super delegates. They can override whatever the people want in terms of nominations, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of speculation made that'll happen. And it's important because, again, California is one of the largest, not just populations, but economies on the planet. A lot of the policies, it's a whole ripple effect. You see this time and time again with many instances. It usually starts in maybe Europe, goes to Canada, then goes to California, and then spreads across the United States. So this is going to have huge implications across the United States. And we will see if there's actually a federal ban when it comes to these types of things. There are lawsuits being filed. And again, that's most effective way to enact change is, have peaceful protest. Those right to your senators, right to your congressmen, let them know how you feel. And it'll be challenged, soon it'll be challenged in court. And I think eventually this will make it up to the Supreme Court in terms of, and again, maybe it might just be an instance where maybe Trump wins, tells the Department of Education about federal funding, you can't hide things from parents. Again, it's a creepy thing to hide anything from a parent. But, it is fascinating. I go on LinkedIn today or this week, and people are giving this, praising Gavin Newsom, saying it's great. I think many people will leave. It is, actually, let's look this up. That is quite ridiculous. And again, in California, this has very much become a political issue, and it's one of the things it has become a left versus right topic. Now, which begs the question, how many Republicans are left there? Let's see. How many registered Republicans? In 2022, of the 22 million. Let's see here. What a waste of votes. This is 2020 data, just going off Wikipedia. They said there's 5,334,323 Democrat registered voters and 5,283,853 for no party preference, Republican and no party preference. Which, again, the United States would be red for a long time if every Republican just left California. Especially with remote work these days, that's not inconceivable. Although that being said, we also have an estimated 8 to 13 million illegals across the border in the past 40 months. Again, that's another unknown variable in how people are guessing how they'll vote. And historically speaking, they do vote. They tend to vote more left on many issues. So it'll be interesting to see at the end of the day how this affects the country. People leaving California. There will also be some people moving to California. Again, there are some people who believe in this. I've seen them make comments on social media. I obviously don't agree with it. But let me know, do you think this is going to, hurt the economy in California? How many businesses will continue to leave? Spoiler alert, a couple did. But again, I always love to challenge people. Tell me one business that has moved to California in the past, 5-10 years. I'll wait. Very, 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 very few. Quite the antithesis, many of them are leaving. But it is a fascinating hot cultural topic and political topic. Let me know what your thoughts are. As always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have a mayor of Pennsylvania saying the Trump assassin should have tried harder. Mentally vacuous, yes. And evil, yes. Are we surprised? No. I mean, these are the same people who have been calling Trump, a Nazi and Hitler for years upon years and years, calling him a threat to democracy. Which, anytime you're that bombastic about the competition, I tend to get a little skeptical. It's something that I do admire about Trump. He doesn't really insult the voters of the Biden, people who vote for Biden. He's called people bad names. He's called politicians bad names. But that's another big difference. Hillary, lost the election because she insulted a lot of middle America. Deplorables and flyover states. She insulted actually people who voted for him. Again, you want to win them over. You want to win their hearts and minds. You should not be insulting those very people. But I partially digress. This is brought to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, a continuing trend of mentally and morally vacuous people trying to braze this attempted assassination, which is good in terms of we have this data. I know not to hire certain people on social media because of that. And in this case, if you're local, you know not to re-elect him. Now, again, this is brought to us thanks to Liz of TikTok. And she says, quote, "Meet Sean Roop Consavage, the mayor of Bernville, Pennsylvania. He reportedly said try harder after the shooter missed. A petition is going around to get him removed after he allegedly bragged about it, but no one being able to kick him out of office. Our tax dollars fund his salary." Which, I don't want to say looks creepy, but yeah, he looks kind of creepy. I know, maybe I don't have much ground to stand on. And at least he did suit up. He did one thing right in his life. Might be a short accomplishment list, but nevertheless. Now, this is, again, how dumb are these people? Wow. So he said, and this is him bombastically saying, oh no, I'm not going to resign. So he says, quote, "I didn't take it down and I have zero intentions of resigning. Better yet, there isn't even a way for you to remove me from office." Which is a cocky thing to say. Now, this is let's see here. Pennsylvania arrest warrants. That's a very specific handle or username. It says, quote, "Public calls for Burnsville Mayor Sean Roop Consavage in Burns County, Pennsylvania to step down after alleged comments. Hashtag Pennsylvania Proud. Try harder followed the failed assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump at the Butler campaign rally where the former president was shot. 3 other Pennsylvania residents were shot. David Dutch, 57, James Carpenter, 74, and 50-year-old former fire chief Corey Comptador was killed." And yeah, the guy, this man, wow, he really said, yeah, I have no intention of resigning. Better yet, there's no way. Which, he might think that, but just saying that is going to inspire a lot of people to dig through every line, every sentence in the rules and stipulations of that local area on how to get him out of office. Which, spite is a powerful motivator in business and politics. Now, again, it looks like this is his post, where she simply says, hashtag Pennsylvania Proud, try harder. Which, wow, got 80,000 likes, 2.4 million views. Now, one of the first comments comes from Paul Zazupa. He says, quote, "A mayor in Pennsylvania, of all places, said this. Recall or resign immediately," getting 6.47 thousand likes. Patriot Wins responded saying spells like corruption, getting 2.4 thousand likes. Scrolling through here. Aha, we have some people already digging into it. One for individual as by the name of Shadow. who says, quote, he can be removed by using section 904.1 since this would be inciting violence. Also have other popular comments. Yeah, Bruce Blau saying, oh, where'd they go? Why that's not lining up correctly. Bruce Blau says, keep posting how evil Democrats are. Horrible humans, getting 4.5 thousand likes. Which, again, it's not all Democrats. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who have no idea how far the far left has gone. So again, I always make a distinction between there's Democrats, there's Republicans. Most of the contentious things is coming from the far left and the far right. And yeah, when it comes to the leftists, which I would consider this individual, again, calling for violence of a public official, yes, I would say this person, this mayor, is definitely a leftist, not a traditional Democrat. Now, the issue is, it seems to be there are fewer traditional Democrats in politics. They have very dramatically shifted the overturned window throughout the years more and more and more, to the point where many of my friends growing up who were proud, Democrats, throughout the years, they've shifted more libertarian and even more have gone Republican. So I just wanted to make that little asterisk, I suppose. Sean Farish says, it is clear and obvious incitement for someone else to try harder. He should be arrested, getting 5.2 thousand likes, which I don't think. Now, granted, I'm no lawyer, though I do have a suit. But yeah, in terms of that being an actual threat, I don't think that would hold up in court, because in many instances, as far as I'm aware, it would have to be a specific articulate threat, be more specific. So I'm not sure if they actually would, I'm not sure how that would actually go in court. Now, granted, when it comes to voting, it's mostly the court of public opinion. And granted, everyone is eventually up to re-election unless you're, the deep state or a bureaucrat who just has that job for life. So they'll vote differently when that time comes. Now, Awaiting Your Blessed Hope says, you can impeach a mayor under Pennsylvania law, Title 8, getting 4.4 thousand likes. Tom in Florida says, a Pennsylvanian was murdered and Sean says, try harder, getting 3.4 thousand likes. Logan Dubill says, as a Pennsylvania resident, I am not proud to have this guy serving in public office position. How are these people elected in the first place? Throw up emoji. Getting 1.8 thousand likes. Which, yep. And again, we're learning a lot about folks this past week. And again, that's one of the beauty of social media and all the people putting their opinions out there. I mean, if you're calling for, these people are praising violence and are actually saying that they wish it would have happened. I mean, you might get a job at some leftist company, sure, but most companies in the United States will not hire you. Because again, speaking any political violence, I don't care, against any politician, that's a big red flag. I mean, I certainly would never hire someone like that. Someone who said that they wish Trump, his life has ended, 0% chance to get hired from me. I don't care what your resume looks like. So it'll be interesting to see as we see more and more of these instances of people just, it's almost, if it wasn't so, if this, it is almost comical how mentally vacuous some of these people are, and they're putting this information out there, and they're calling for more violence. I mean, it's not, it's not going to be good for them socially. I mean, yes, in California, they might be praised, but I think the average American does not believe in political violence against political officials, both sides. But maybe I'm just foolishly optimistic and see the silver lining, or trying to see the glass half full of the situation. Maybe let me know in the comments. Do you think the average American, I mean, do you think that they're happy? I think the average American is happy that Trump did not perish prematurely. I would hope so. But let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm just being foolishly optimistic or trying to see glass half full. But let me know in the comments. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have Elon Musk moving SpaceX and X Twitter to the great state, or some might argue the great country of Texas, or some might call it Texas, after California passed a law which literally will allow the schools to basically transition kids without the parents knowing. Again, it's about hiding the biggest highlight is highlighting the instance that the kids could do things at school and the schools do not have to tell the parents. So the children is, the teachers pushing these ideologies. The kid thinks that it's good for them to transition. The parents will not be told. Which, again, should be a big red flag to anyone with a modicum of moral or intellect. And Elon, he's voting with his dollar. He's gonna remove millions of dollars of value from California. Again, there's a huge ripple effect when a business leaves a state. It's not just the the people who work at not just the tax dollars, which again, California, disgusting that businesses are even taxed, considering the government also steals from the employees, the payroll tax, and the sales tax, and the gas tax. Don't get me wrong and go on a 20-minute rant on that alone, but businesses, not only they pay tax, every time a person leaves the state, all those other taxes leave, all those other revenues leave. So it could be a huge ripple effect. Now, this went viral on X Twitter. It said, quote, Elon Musk announced that SpaceX and X will move their headquarters from California to Texas, citing a new California law that bans schools from requiring parental notification if the child identifies as transgender. This decision follows a series of policies in California that Musk views as detrimental to families and businesses. This move is seen as a significant shift in the space industry, with Texas positioning itself as a leader in space exploration. And damn near every industry, because we're awesome, obviously. Although I feel a little ashamed I should have been wearing my Texas hat for that speech. But nevertheless, then you have the specific tweet from Elon, and he says, quote, this is the straw. Because of this and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its headquarters from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas, which, of all the cities, all the names, that is a pretty good name. Starbase, Texas, that's good. They got 58.9 million views and 34,000 likes. Elon continuing saying that, quote, such a mean and cruel people they are. Then he's actually responding to, sorry, pull it up really quick. There we go. Again, now, just by refreshing the page, it's now up to 61.3 million views and 343,000 likes. Although, could I get it to 334? Or unlike and like it? No, I didn't. No. Now, Elon Musk continued saying, quote, I did make it clear to Governor Newsom that about a year ago that the laws of this nature would force families and companies to leave California to protect their children, unquote. They got 128,000 likes, which I can't imagine how happy those employees are. Again, going to a place with so much freedom is awesome. Now, it is a little disappointing with the property taxes in Texas, which property taxes in general are a scam, just conceptually. But yeah, and then you have the increased sales tax at 8.25% in Texas. Come on, Abbott, what are you doing? You need to cut that in half. But nevertheless, overall, it's still a great place to be. And someday, even with the property tax, I hope to aspire to own a house one of these days. But nevertheless. Now, one of the first comments comes from the red-headed libertarian saying, quote, congratulations on making this choice. The beautiful thing about a republic of 50 states is that if one state becomes tyrannical, we have the choice as Americans to leave and go somewhere that better reflects our values. They got 20,000 likes. Going down more and more. You also have Brandon Herrera, known as the AK guy, saying, I enjoyed watching Elon get progressively more base, unquote, getting 7.9 thousand likes. Gunther Eagleman said, quote, I bet you're not the only one leaving California, getting 4.8 thousand likes. Yeah, he's not. Fascinatingly enough, even diehard tech companies during the pandemic, past couple of years, they've been leaving California in droves. Hewlett Packard Enterprise, they're in Houston. CrowdStrike, the most expensive, best-known cybersecurity company on the planet, they have moved to Texas. Though some might argue they went to Austin, so it's like die Texas, some might say. You have Oracle, also famously left California for Texas. So many of these companies, they're leaving. And it's not a coincidence, because California is anti-business friendly and, in many cases, anti-family friendly. Going down more and more, you have Paul Zupa saying, quote, horrible. Gavin Newsom is putting the perversions of predatory teachers ahead of the safety of the children. Arrest Newsom, unquote, getting 4.1 thousand likes. Now, that being said, of course, he will not be arrested. And interestingly enough, he'll probably be reelected. He pulls very well with the ladies, especially. Again, he's very articulate, puts on a suit. Some might argue it's a skin suit over his lizard body. Huh, kidding, obviously, but or am I? But in all seriousness, he is very articulate. In terms of politicians, he knows what he's doing for a state, but nevertheless, he gets reelected. It's like Chicago. They keep voting for it. Fountain World says, quote, you're spot on. Elon Newsom's anti-family and anti-business policies are ruining California. Texas will be a much better place for SpaceX and hardworking families, unquote, getting 7,000 likes. Gunther Eagleman says, quote, I bet you're not the only, oh, sorry, I already said that. Little brain fart there. Matt Wallace says, too bad kids of X employees will still have to go to school in Commieland. Getting 882 likes. Which, no, he's moving the company, so you definitely leave. I'm not sure in terms of the physical infrastructure, in terms of, again, you have data centers, and that might take a little while to move, but again, it's not that complex. It happens every day. Businesses move their data centers across. Again, there's a big insurance liability that it is a little difficult. I've done it a couple times with, helping businesses move their data centers, mostly within the state of Texas. But again, it just takes proper planning, prepping, and execution of everything, and proper insurance to make sure if you accidentally drop something, you're A-okay, so to say. And of course, lots of backups of the data, but I partially digress. Scrolling down more and more. Is there any contrarian statements here? Has a recurring theme. Libercat Media TM says, stop voting for Democrats, and this picture of Smokey the Bear. And it's been a little while actually, since I attempted that. His age-old accent of Smokey the Bear, but I'll go ahead and I'll give it a go. Only you can prevent California from turning your state. Oh, see, I can't even read it articulately properly. However, if you click the subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. When I first started the show, very few subscribers, and I spoke even worse in terms of a lack of articulation, as well as speaking too fast. Even faster than the day, yes, and misreading things. But as I've gained more subscribers, I became more and more speaking proficient. Might argue it's just a modicum of improvement. However, I'm an improvement nevertheless. So my theory is, the more people subscribe, the better I'll be able to speak, and maybe someday speak a whole episode without having speaking blunders. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, greatly appreciate it. I shall attempt the voice yet again. Only you can prevent Democrats from turning your state into California. Might not be the worst Smokey the Bear of all time. Let me know in the comments. They got, again, 3.6 thousand likes. Well, not me, but like this nevertheless. That was the Smokey the Bear picture. Going down more and more. Sandy says, congrats, Gavin. It's a picture of Gavin in front of U-Haul. Says, congrats, Gavin, U-Haul Salesman of the Year. Which, they should have given an award. They didn't. They had so many U-Hauls leaving the state of California, they ran out. That's like the first time in U-Haul history there was that many people leaving. Again, U-Haul, it's all about logistics. I mean, the cost to move and take one of their trailers or trucks one way is very much expensive. Both ways is basically, very, very economical. But usually the business works pretty well because people traditionally, they move throughout the whole U.S. They also move to California, thereby bringing the inventory back. So many people left, there was no inventory left. It's almost inconceivable. There's that many people moving because of Gavin Newsom. And yet, they keep voting for him. That got 505 likes. Scrolling down more and more. You also have Wall Street Silver saying, quote, I suspect a lot of other families and companies are also making plans to exit California. There's a shortage of moving trucks in California because of all the one-way moving exits. That got 6.6 thousand likes. Quite a few to say the least. Scrolling down more and more. Trump Army says, if generals, or it's a picture of a man holding a little sign there. Where'd it go? Do one or two more here. He says, if genitals don't define gender, how does removing them affirm it? 986 likes. Libercat Media TM says, what part of California is this? Will they be fine too? And it's a picture of homelessness and the crime just rampant in the streets. Culture decay and political decay, that is California. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things, improve or, it's been improving in Texas with all businesses moving here. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you surprised at this? Do you think this is going to be better? As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news. Oh, sorry about that. You had the Trump attempted assassination. That individual actually had explosives, but never researched them, begging the question, how did he get it? Now, this is brought to us thanks to Wall Street Silver. That quote, a metal box of explosives connected by wires to a receiver were found in his car, which could be detonated by remote controlled on his body. He never searched how to make the explosives, but he had explosives and a remote detonator. He had help and a handler. The only question is who? Here's a picture of that mentally morally vacuous individual who attempted to take former President Trump's life. They got 5.6 million views and 58,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Clown World saying something ain't right, getting 3,000 likes. The Texas one says definitely trained by someone, getting 472 likes. Which, yeah, now, let's just say there's a lot of things that don't seem right about this situation, especially when the Secret Service says, "Oh yeah, we didn't put someone on that roof because it was too sloped," when literally it was so not sloped that a cow was able to walk on it. Brian Kennedy says, "Don't worry, the FBI is investigating it." This picture of creepy FBI agents getting 4.8 thousand likes. Going down more and more. Allied Street America says start here and says these are the 9 U.S. congressmen sponsoring H.R. 8081, a bill aimed at stripping Donald Trump of his Secret Service protection. Benny Thompson, Troy Carter, Barbetta Lee, Frederick Wilson, Yvette Clark Bonney, Coleman, Jasmine Crockett, Joyce Betty, Steve Cohen. Yep, getting 3.7 thousand likes. Ron says, remember this? And what's Chuck Schumer and that boy saying? Oh, no, it's Risha Maddow.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset. You take on the intelligence.
It got 4.9 thousand likes. Going down more and more. Pumponomics says that there must have been an insider, and it's Hillary Clinton with sunglasses and a mustache, getting 2.5 thousand likes. Fascinating how she's had a disproportionate amount of people in her life around her, just randomly end their lives prematurely. It is up to 28 now. Though I should say, for the record, she's absolutely a beautiful woman, not disgusting at all, and very much a staple of the community, very trustworthy, great, moral character, not corrupt at all. And I should clarify, I do not plan on prematurely ending my life and plan to live a long, fruitful life. Just coincidentally throwing that out there. Just saying. Now, scrolling down more and more. We have the meme from Jurassic Park where you have the... is it Mr. Knight from Seinfeld? The gentleman who played Newman, I forget his actual name in real life. But he points to the guy, says, see who cares. And the meme says he's labeled as U.S. Secret Service. And it says, look, there's an assassin on the roof aiming at Trump. And he says, see, no one cares. And 1.6 thousand likes. Here. Moon Soon says, let's start at the White House and continue our search there. This picture of Trump with other politicians says the real reason why to get Trump is he knows all their dirty secrets. Getting 1.9 thousand likes. Libercat Media TM says, correct. And this picture of that evil person who tried to take Trump's life says, if you think this guy outsmarted the Secret Service, I have some oceanfront property in Arkansas for sale. Getting 2.8 thousand likes. Matt Couch says this needs to have a full investigation not by the FBI, getting 8.2 thousand likes. Here. Oh, jeez. There's a meme from, I forget, is it SNL skit where the guy turns around and shoots someone and goes, why would they do that? And it says, Pumponomics says it was an inside job, and it's the U.S. Secret Service shooting at guy in the chair labeled Donald Trump. It says, why would the slope roof do this? Getting 755 likes. Soki Soja says someone made those explosives for him, usually an expert. The guy had people helping him out, unquote, getting 1.1 thousand likes. Machiavelli says, I can guarantee you that our corrupt 3-letter agencies are fully aware of everything, and we're going to need investigations from elsewhere to find out what really happened, unquote, getting 3.4 thousand likes. Any kind, see if there's any statements. I don't think there's any contrarian statements this time. Eric Cook says, looks worse than when the JFK hit because there's so much overwhelming evidence of the dereliction of duty, getting 1,000 likes, which that is the upside about technology. All the videos showing how utterly inept the Secret Service was. And let's see, any other contrarian statements maybe? No, not too many. Yeah, so more and more people are asking questions. Will we ever know the real truth? I mean, let's just say I'm skeptical to say the least, but what are your thoughts? Do you think this individual acted alone? Was it part of a team? As always, let me know in the comments. It'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Going over to the business blunder of the day, you have a windmill shut down, or rather a windmill farm shut down after, they just broke and had fiberglass on the ocean. Not great. Now, this is brought to us thanks to CBS News, and specifically Matt Schwab, saying Vineyard Wind shut down after turbine failure. Sharp fiberglass shards wash ashore Nantucket beaches. Oh, but I was told these magical windmills were perfect and they solved all our life's problems. There's also CBS News says federal government shuts down vineyard wind farm after turbine blades break off. There's a couple of pictures of the beach there. Just a friendly reminder of the ineptitudes and uselessness of most windmills. The break even, on average, according to Grok, which is the AI search from X Twitter, is 18.75 years to break even. Also known as trash. You would never do that with any investment. No one with a modicum of intelligence would ever do that. You have people, though, that don't think about the long actual ROI on these projects. And again, that's the average. There are some places where the ROI might be quicker. Again, big variable in geography. Understandable. But yeah, on average, 18.75 years just to break even. Yeah. And then you have these blades, which ironically are in many cases, toxic and not great for the environment. So what do you do with those? Well, depending on where you are, you usually shred them. Now, okay, here's a better picture of one of those giant things. Jeez Louise. Now, they say that, quote, the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement said all operations are shut down until further notice. A team of BSSE experts is on site to work closely with Vineyard Wind on the analysis of the cause of the incident and next steps. Which, wow, yeah, they don't look great. They say that the Vineyard wind turbine suffered blade damage last Saturday. No one was hurt, but large chunks of the blade began to wash ashore the beaches. And that day and the days that followed. And here you see, so big they have to actually use one of those giant caterpillar little little scoops to pick some of it up. They say, quote, Vineyard Wind is fully committed to a swift and safe recovery of all debris with unwavering focus on community safety and environmental protection. Vineyard Wind also continues to say, quote, as part of its immediate action plan, Vineyard Wind communicated with officials in Nantucket to inform them of the presence of debris and recovery efforts of the southern-facing beaches of the island. Which, geez Louise. So the whole beach is shut down. Whoops. Not great news. And again, it'll be interesting to see, was it a manufacturer defect of the actual blade or the wind turbine? Is it because they didn't maintain it properly? Because again, a lot of people forget, you don't just put up that windmill and it makes some energy and eventually breaks even. But it is a lot of maintenance that goes into those giant things. It's a good workout for that one guy has to climb up to the top of that turbine to actually do some of the maintenance as well. So I'm sure they'll do a root cause analysis, see whether there's an actual failure point. But nevertheless, having one of your windmills just break and then shutting down a whole beach and have the government shut you down, well, gotta say, that is going to certainly be the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I could make the show better and better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.